One morning, a disciple approached Buddha as the sun cast golden rays upon the serene Jetavana garden. His steps were heavy, burdened by an invisible weight. "Teacher," he said, bowing deeply, his voice trembling with suppressed emotion, "I feel trapped by the need to please everyone around me." Buddha raised his gaze, observing the disciple with gentle eyes that seemed to hold endless understanding. "Why do you carry this burden, my child?" Buddha asked, his voice steady as flowing water. "What compels you to seek approval from others?" The disciple hesitated, his hands clasping each other tightly, like a man clutching at the edge of an abyss. "I fear their disappointment," he admitted, his words echoing with vulnerability. "If I fail to meet their expectations, I feel as though I have failed entirely." Buddha nodded, his expression calm, yet deeply reflective, like the surface of a still pond. "Imagine this garden," Buddha began, gesturing toward the flowers blooming nearby. "Every flower offers its fragrance freely, without asking who appreciates it. Your mind is the pond, and your thoughts are the stone," Buddha said, his voice soft yet resonating deeply. "Some thoughts are heavy, creating ripples. Others merely skim the surface, fleeting and barely felt," Buddha explained patiently. "But, teacher," the disciple interjected, his voice tinged with hesitation, "flowers do not face judgment. It does not despair over its size nor rush its growth. Yet it reaches for the sky," he continued. I looked at the sapling more intently, as if its quiet existence suddenly bore a hidden meaning for me. "Indeed, people judge," Buddha agreed, his words simple but profound. "Yet, is your value determined by their judgment, or by your essence?" The disciple lowered his gaze, his mind struggling to grasp the depth of Buddha's question. Silence lingered, broken only by the faint rustling of leaves. Buddha continued, his voice carrying a timeless wisdom. The Buddha pointed to a nearby fire, its dancing tongues engulfing dry wood, rising and falling in its ephemeral ferocity. "A flame feeds on fuel. Without fuel, the fire fades," Buddha explained, gently tossing soil onto the fire's flickering embers. "Anger needs your attention, your desire to resist or retaliate, to keep burning," Buddha said, hands gesturing toward calming waters. "When anger arises, observe it deeply, dispassionately. It teaches where patience is absent, where understanding lacks, where peace is neglected," Buddha shared. "No, teacher," he replied, his voice quieter but steadier. "The tree simply exists, rooted in its nature. Not all thoughts are illusions. Some are mirrors reflecting the truth we need but resist acknowledging," Buddha clarified. "Thoughtfully, look into the mirror with courage. Subhuti, without flinching. You will find the truth hidden within," Buddha reassured gently. "To live authentically, you must honor your inner essence." The disciple looked up, his eyes reflecting both confusion and hope. "But how can I begin to do that?" he asked earnestly, his longing for guidance tangible. Buddha paused, his gaze steady yet compassionate, as if peering directly into the disciple's spirit. "Ananda, Subhuti, and all gathered here, remember peace is found not in control but in acceptance," Buddha emphasized calmly. The disciples bowed deeply, gratitude filling their hearts, each one reflecting on the profound lessons delivered under the Bodhi tree. "Master, if the journey itself is the teacher, how do I honor each step without losing sight of the destination?" The Buddha gestured to the forest path, dappled with sunlight and shadow, winding endlessly through the trees. "Walk the path with awareness," he said. "Meditate under this tree," Buddha suggested, his words carrying the certainty of experience. The disciple glanced at the ancient tree, its roots entwined with the earth like veins in a living being. "Reflect on your essence, untouched by the expectations placed upon you," Buddha encouraged, his voice unwavering. as the disciple seated himself beneath the tree. The shade enveloped him like an embrace. His mind swirled with thoughts of his life, filled with moments of pleasing others at the cost of himself. Buddha observed him silently, his presence both steady and unobtrusive. Like the sky above, the disciple closed his eyes, his breathing steadying as he surrendered to stillness. Images of past actions flashed before him, each one tied to the fear of judgment. He began to discern between choices made for himself and those made to appease others. The distinction grew sharper with each breath he took. I let his words wash over me like the gentle breeze rustling the leaves above, filling me with quiet resolve. Master, how do I begin anew each day without carrying the burdens of yesterday's failures? I inquired earnestly. The disciple opened his eyes. His expression transformed. The weariness had lessened, replaced by a tentative clarity. Each day is a chance to illuminate anew. To carry the past is to weigh down the present, robbing it of its full potential to teach and heal. The Buddha rose to his feet, his movements deliberate, as he approached a tree bearing ripe fruit and unripe blossoms alike. This tree bears fruit because it received sunlight, water, and care. Buddha nodded approvingly, his gaze unwavering. Indeed, my child, Buddha affirmed, his words resonating deeply. Some thoughts may flourish quickly, while others take time to mature or fall away. Buddha taught. The disciples listened intently, their expressions reflecting the seeds of understanding being planted within their own gardens of thought. Master, Rahula interjected, his voice thoughtful, how do we stop the weeds from choking the flowers we are trying to grow? The Buddha gently plucked a weed from the soil, its roots tangled yet delicate, and held it for all to see. Weeds do not grow from malice. They grow because the soil nurtures them. Much like your unwholesome thoughts, Buddha explained. To live authentically is your true offering to the world. Serve others only as your essence allows. The disciple bowed deeply, his heart filled with both humility and resolve. Thank you, teacher, he said, his voice steady and sincere. Buddha smiled warmly, his presence as serene as the garden that surrounded them. From that day onward, the disciple began to untangle himself from the web of others' expectations. Each step he took honored his own essence, allowing him to offer his truth freely, like a tree rooted deeply in the earth. Another day, the sun cast its golden light across the calm Jetavana grove, awakening its flowers with tender warmth. A woman approached Buddha, her face marked with lines of worry and exhaustion. In her hands, she held a mirror adorned with intricate carvings. Teacher, she said softly, bowing before him, the mirror trembling in her grasp. I have lost myself, living as a reflection of others. Their demands shape my actions, and their judgments guide my silence. Though praised for devotion, my heart feels hollow and disconnected. The disciples sat silently, reflecting on the imagery and depth of the lessons being shared beneath the ancient Bodhi tree. Remember, the Buddha said, his voice clear and resonant, a garden blooms not through force but through constant, gentle care. The woman obeyed, lowering it to the grass at his feet. Buddha held the mirror in his hands, examining its surface etched with symbols of history and tradition. He then turned it toward her. Tell me, my child, what do you see in this mirror? He asked. I see my face, the woman answered hesitantly, her voice uncertain. Buddha nodded, his expression calm and thoughtful. Indeed, the mirror shows your face, he began, his words deliberate, but it cannot reveal your soul. It captures the surface, but not the essence of who you are. The woman lowered her gaze, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched her robe. He gestured to the horizon, where distant clouds drifted, their forms ever changing, shaped by the unseen winds of the sky. Your emotions are like these clouds, Buddha continued, impermanent and shifting. Just as clouds hide the clear sky, so too do expectations obscure your inner truth, he said. But the sky remains unchanged behind the clouds. Master, spoke Subhuti, his voice thoughtful, how can we transform anger, envy, and fear into something meaningful and constructive? The Buddha stood and walked to the edge of the nearby stream, its gentle currents whispering secrets of timeless flow. Come, he said, beckoning his disciples to follow. His footsteps light yet purposeful as they approached the stream together. But teacher, she began, her voice faltering, how can I embrace solitude without guilt for leaving those who depend on me? Buddha raised his hand gently, signaling calmness. To embrace solitude is not to abandon others. My child, he replied. It is to nurture the connection with yourself, so you may serve authentically. Like the sun, your light must first shine from within before it illuminates the world. Buddha gestured toward the mirror, his movements steady and deliberate. Take this mirror as a symbol, he said. Fear shows you the boundaries of your courage and invites you to explore what lies beyond them. With mindful intention, Ananda, his curiosity piqued, asked, Master, but how can we turn these insights into action without being overwhelmed by emotions? The Buddha smiled, placing a smooth stone into the stream, watching as the water effortlessly flowed around it. Only then can you uncover your essence and live truly. The woman nodded, her heart heavy with both uncertainty and hope. She held the mirror close to her chest, its weight comforting yet symbolic of her journey ahead. She spent days in solitude, away from the familiar faces that had shaped her existence. She sat by a stream, observing its gentle flow, each ripple reflecting fragments of the sky above. The sound of the water calmed her restless thoughts. Memories surfaced like bubbles in the stream, images of moments she had lived not for herself but for others. She began to discern the difference between actions born of fear and those guided by her inner truth. Our ascent continued, each step a silent dialogue with the journey itself, a meditation on its beauty and challenges, though the summit remained distant. The richness of the path grew undeniable, each moment filled with quiet revelation. She began to feel the presence of her true self emerging, unburdened by the expectations that had clouded her spirit. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, she returned to Buddha, carrying the mirror in her hands. Her demeanor had transformed. The heaviness in her posture had lifted, replaced by a quiet strength. Buddha greeted her, his gaze steady and kind. What have you discovered, my child? He asked. She placed the mirror at his feet, her hands steady and deliberate. Tell me, what do you see when you look upon these lotus blooms, untouched by the mud below? He asked. They are radiant and pure, floating serenely above the murky depths that seem to offer no such beauty, I replied. My essence is the sky behind the clouds. Buddha nodded, his smile warm and approving. Indeed, my child, he affirmed. To uncover your essence is to free yourself from the constraints of reflection. Just as the stream flows with purpose, guided by its source, so too must you honor your truth. The woman bowed deeply, gratitude shining in her eyes. The mud nourishes the roots, which strive upward through darkness to reach the light. The mud represents our struggles, doubts, and fears, the obstacles we encounter that shape our growth and understanding, he continued. From that day onward, the woman carried the mirror as a reminder of her journey. She lived with a renewed sense of self, honoring her essence while offering her truth freely, like the sky embracing both clouds and sun. Another day, the stillness of dusk settled over Jetavana, its trees casting long shadows under the fading sunlight. A young monk approached Buddha, his hands trembling as he carried a small lantern. The glow within flickered weakly, struggling against the encroaching darkness. Teacher, the monk began, his voice hesitant and filled with uncertainty. Master, are you saying my fears and failures are like the mud, necessary for me to grow into understanding? I asked. Precisely, he replied. Place the lantern before me, Buddha instructed, his tone patient and kind. The monk lowered the lantern to the ground, its faint glow casting a delicate shadow. Buddha leaned forward, observing the struggling flame within the lantern. This lantern can light 1,000 lamps without losing its flame, Buddha began. His words deliberate and measured. The lotus rises because it strives unwaveringly toward the light, not because the mud loosens its grip, he explained, to rise above challenges. You must remain committed to seeking the light, trusting in your journey's unfolding, he said. Teacher, how does one balance nurturing their own flame while lighting the path for others? He asked, his voice tinged with desperation. Buddha placed his hand gently on the lantern, his movements steady and deliberate. Like the sun, your light must first shine brightly from within before it can illuminate the world, Buddha said. The sun does not rise because the earth demands it, but because it is its nature to shine. Buddha gestured toward the distant horizon, its colors blending seamlessly into the night. Look beyond the immediate demands of those around you, he continued, his voice unwavering. Care for your flame with intention, for its brightness sustains not only you but also those who seek your light. The monk lowered his gaze, his heart heavy with doubt and uncertainty. Teacher, I fear that caring for myself may appear selfish to those I serve, he admitted. His words laced with hesitation. Buddha smiled gently, his presence radiating understanding and compassion. To care for oneself is not selfish, my child, Buddha affirmed. It is an act of love that strengthens your ability to serve. Like the roots of a tree drawing nourishment from the earth, so must you nurture yourself to stand tall and provide shade. The monk nodded slowly, his thoughts turning to the lantern flickering between them. He imagined its flame growing stronger, its light spreading to other lamps without faltering. How do I begin to nurture my flame without neglecting my service? He asked earnestly, his longing for guidance palpable. I nodded, feeling a newfound clarity begin to shape my thoughts, grounding my resolve and easing the burden of doubt. Master, how do I begin anew each day without carrying the weight of yesterday's failures and fears? I asked. Recognize the moments when your flame wavers. Ask yourself, what does my spirit need to burn brightly again? The monk closed his eyes, reflecting on the weight of his service and the moments of exhaustion he had endured. He began to sense the balance between giving to others and honoring his own needs. Buddha observed him silently, his presence grounding and unobtrusive, like the earth beneath their feet. The monk opened his eyes, his expression softened yet filled with determination. Buddha gestured toward the lantern, its flame steadier than before. Like this flame, your light thrives with care and attention, Buddha said. Meditate on the balance within yourself, for in harmony lies liberation. The monk bowed deeply, his gratitude shining through his humility. Thank you, teacher, he said, his voice steady and sincere. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. He learned to nurture his flame, allowing it to shine brightly enough to light the path for others. Thus, Buddha's teaching on liberation illuminated the monk's journey, reminding him that true harmony lies in honoring both oneself and the interconnectedness of all beings. The forest, bathed in starlight and the glow of their small lamp, seemed to hold the promise of infinite possibilities. Buddha stood, his movements graceful as he prepared to lead the disciples back to their journey through the vast, awaiting world. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.